Are you from Africa? This question is often heard by lots of people. It makes us wonder, where is Africa? Is it really a country? Before we indulge you with the many good things about Africa, please consider subscribing to our channel to learn more about Africa and to explain further that Africa is not a jungle. In this video, we are going to know the stereotypes that are too common when we hear about Africa and its people. We will also examine the truth about Africa, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. Although there are many misconceptions about Africa, the continent itself is significantly more complex than the sum of its preconceptions. The most essential fact to keep in mind is that Africa is not a single nation, but rather a continent consisting of 54 separate nations that vary greatly from one to another, both culturally and geographically. To stress this point even further, it is not a country. The sheer size of Africa, which is roughly equivalent to the combined land masses of China, the United States, India, Japan, and a large portion of Europe, is the primary reason for the continent's incredible diversity. It's possible that Africa is the continent with the most languages. Although Arabic is the language that is spoken by most people in Africa, the continent is also home to over 2,000 other languages. Christianity is the second most practiced faith in Africa, after Islam being the continent's primary religion. Some estimate that by the year 2050, approximately 40% of the world's Christian population would call sub-Saharan Africa home. People typically picture the savannas of Africa or the Sahara when they think of the continent of Africa. Even though these ecosystems make up 3/4 of the continent, Africa also has mountain ranges, rainforests, marshes, shrublands, coastlines with coral reefs and barrier islands, and a collection of major lakes, which include Lake Victoria and Lake Tanganyika. It may come as a surprise to these people, yet approximately 37% of Africans live in urban regions. However, it is projected that during the next 30 years, Africa will be the world's fastest urbanizing region. According to projections made by the United Nations, by the year 2100, the population of Africa would equal that of Asia and account for about 40% of the global total. According to the same estimate, by the year 2100, Africa would be home to 50% of the nations with the highest total population. At this time, only Nigeria is included on the list. Even though extreme poverty remains a problem across much of Africa, the continent's economy is seeing remarkable growth. Ethiopia, Ghana, and Ivory Coast are the countries on the African continent that are performing the best in terms of economic growth, and they account for 5 or 6 of the slots on most lists of the top 10 economies expanding the fastest. With those said facts in mind, it stands to reason that Africa is very diverse in people, culture, language, and most of all, places. It's not a country, and it's not a jungle. This channel will introduce and reiterate that the continent has a lot more to offer than its jungles and savannas. There are luxurious places, beautiful infrastructures, urbanized cities, and most of all, highly civilized people. This is contrary to the popular belief that Africa is a country or it is a jungle. The purpose of the channel is to clear these misconceptions and to promote the beauty of the continent. If this content excites you, subscribe and hit that notification bell to always be updated with our future uploads. The statement Africa is a country is one that a significant number of people from all over the continent have internalized during their growing years and felt compelled to share with others. The majority of people have the impression that Africa is a single, unbroken block of suffering, disaster, and poverty. As a result, they see the continent as being gloomy. When we consider the concept of darkness, we are brought to think of misery. But when we consider the concept of light, we are brought to think of joy. In both academic writing and everyday culture, the concept of Africa as the dark continent has a long and storied history. Around the same time that the colonialists thought it was their responsibility to go to Africa and take control, the term dark continent began to be used to refer to the continent in general. The purpose of this channel is to educate people about the context of this region and continent, which has been lacking up until now, and to provide people with a better understanding of Africa as it actually is, rather than as most people grew up understanding it. This will allow people to develop better relationships with Africa in its true form. Because of this, the name of this channel is Africa is Not a Jungle, and the continent is referred to as the Bright Continent. It's about attempting to change people's conceptions of Africa away from one that sees it as a place of gloom and toward one that sees it as a place of light. Why is this channel relevant to this day? Because the majority of people's images of Africa are inaccurate representations of the real continent, it is imperative that people interact with Africa in its current state. If you ask the majority of people to close their eyes and visualize Africa, the first thing that will likely come to their minds is poverty, and the second thing that will likely come to their mind is a fiery poor and safari, with nothing in between. This is a territory with over 2,000 languages spoken by its more than 1.4 billion inhabitants. Just like any other place in the globe, African countries can represent anything and everything, from extraordinary tales of victory and success to extraordinary tales of anguish and suffering. This channel was created with the intention of conveying to its readers and to the rest of the world that Africa should be viewed in the same manner as every other region of the world. As complicated and complex, with variety, diversity of thought, achievement, and future outcomes, and not as a monolith of predetermined destinies. The majority of people, unfortunately, have a fictitious vision of Africa in their heads. They receive this version of Africa from movies, novels, and charitable organizations that have depicted Africa as a place where people lounge around waiting for assistance packages to get delivered from the Western world. A considerably more accurate picture of what it means to be Nigerian or Rwandan or from Zimbabwe, South Africa, or Algeria can be constructed if you have a firmer grasp of the place, its history, and its context. That is to say that this channel will explore the beauty of Africa in its entirety and provide a connection to the continent, its countries, and most especially to its people. This is Africa is Not a Jungle. If you like this video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content about the continent. See you at our next one.